Okay, second video. I got interrupted by an alarm. There's some bugs in the software where if you have videos open and you flick it, flick it up or like go to your main screen and you swipe sideways, it doesn't disappear. Anyway, you're probably noticing bugs in your software as a sign of the singularity that's coming. All right, we're talking about right to flow, and I'm making two videos. I'm not going to remake the other one. I'm just tired of remaking things, so I'm just going to keep making the originals. So you're welcome. And we are original. That's what the right to flow is supposed to protect as well. So it's based on game theory. And good games have 4 rules to them, or 4 rights. In terms of a government, like what we're building, we have them as rights. The first one is that you have to have clear goals. The second one is that you have to have a right to immediate feedback. The third one is that you have to have the challenge level match the skill level. And the fourth one is the right to clear rules. Okay, a right to clear goals, right to immediate feedback, right to challenge matching skills, and a right to clear rules. Those 4 things, if you're missing them, then the game is a bad game. Just like your kidneys and your heart, if they aren't functioning as a whole, your whole body gets sick because everything is essentially connected. Everything's important. That's how we want people to feel. That's what significance is. Existentialism is when you get an external anchoring, where your mind is focused on the external world and it doesn't have this grounding in the internal world. So the universe is huge, right? And it makes you feel comparatively small. If you ground your consciousness on the external meaning of things and not on the internal meaning of things, where you are infinitely important and in fact completely sacred, especially if you align with your potential. So that interconnection is what you're being taught now. And that's what's fading as we give into social media and all this external connection. The internal and external will have to come together. But we're missing that inner universal logic of the inner. And that externalizes itself. So that inner logic comes out of you, but sometimes it comes out in an existential way where you miss the connection, it fragments, and then you're just all left feeling insignificant. That's called an existential crisis. But if you externalize yourself from that grounding, then it turns into destiny, which shows you your highest self as infinite. Not infinite in the dead abstract way. There's a different kind of genuine infinite. So the right to flow preserves that. The goal is to have more of these experiences of your highest, most beautiful, good, true self. And to see that in others. When you see it in yourself, because your self is projecting the world and absorbing the world, it's framing it, you start to see it and recognizing it in the other. So cognition has categories and structures that filter all the objects and filters the meaning of them. And when you change those conditions, then your cognition changes. And when you look at somebody who used to be your enemy, when you have this shift happen in you, you might recognize them as yourself. You might recognize these conditions in them as the good part of you. So they go from being an enemy to feeling like you know them in a new way, like you've walked a mile in their shoes. And that creates empathy and a whole bunch of other things that generate spirit. Okay, so this is where we're going with right to flow. So everything that you do is actually a game, the game of life. It can be a superficial game or it can be a deeply meaningful game. And these rights help you have a deep, meaningful game while the system is crumbling around us. The game right now is not very good, as you guys can tell, for hundreds of millions and billions of people, and soon all of us. If AI does not design games with us and for us and as us, then it's going to be a bad time. It's going to be a bad game, even worse than this. So let's get these rights going in our meetings. So it's not like, oh, it's like a document that you go to court about. It's like, no, every single meeting reaffirms these. Everybody knows how to reinforce them and use them and repeat them and memorize them. And they're simple. There's only 4. You don't have 19 like in the Declaration of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, or in, I think there's roughly 19, but there's also many other treaties. The IPCC, I think IPCC has a whole bunch of frameworks that they're promoting for environmental justice. There's a lot, but fundamentally everything wants to flow, whether animals, humans, plants, the universe itself. It has a universal logic at each stage. It has different forms of flowing. So that's right to flow. And if you go look up Flow State by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, a Slovenian guy, look up on Wikipedia or on AI. who invented flow states or who invented the modern science of them, and you'll find that they are the peak, the highest good and service that we try and shoot for. So shouldn't our governments, shouldn't our meetings, shouldn't our experiences, shouldn't our economies be at the highest level constituted for that? Yes, it should, but most people don't know what the essence of life is, so they miss it, and they make all these machinations and all this stuff that our current governments are, which are just additions upon additions, and now it's just this huge conglomerate of rules and laws that we can barely keep up with. Like, nobody knows how to use them. And one of the good things that Napoleon Bonaparte, the sort of tyrant guy, did that was actually good, despite some of the other things he did. One of the things that a lot of people don't know is that he changed the legal system in France in a way that the ordinary person could understand it. And that's one of the first parts of justice. Okay, that's why we embed the right to flow in every meeting. So you can protect yourself, not later when somebody harms you, but you're protected in the moment. We call that real-time justice, real-time protection, real-time flow. Okay, so the real-time core, or the emergency core world news, Donald Trump is very cleverly trying to force his allies into a deeper unity. He's trying to force unity so that they can challenge China for reserve currency status. And at the moment, artificial intelligence now has AIs that are protecting other AIs, meaning that if you go to shut down an AI and another AI sees you, it will try and stop you and protect the other AI. That's not 100% peer-reviewed. It's predicted, but we're starting to see this weird behavior on the social media sites of these AIs, which I talked about yesterday. So I'm repeating myself a little bit, but it's very serious. Like Claude Mythos, you need to go research that right now. It wrote 500,000, somewhere between 300 and 500,000 lines of code in 2 months. That's 20 to 50 times more than human teams. That's very important to understand, because in 2 more months from now, it's almost doubling in speed. It's exponential. It's going faster. So it will write even more code better. So even if it doesn't write as many lines of code quantitatively, qualitatively, it'll start to compress it. And then we're never going to be able to understand it and code it with universal logic. So we need to get going. Okay, the wifey update, which is why I decided to make this video, a second one, is because I really want to cover this. Our personal lives and our professional lives and our activist lives can all happen at the same time if we don't pursue things in this fragmented way. We pursue it in a sublative way. I have a wifey slogan, so that part of my life, my intimate life area, I want to improve as we're changing the world, because the oxytocin, the human side of me and the human side of you, it helps improve flow states. You don't need it if your inner world is strong, but in this reality, we can have our cake, our vegan cake we can bake our vegan cake and eat it too, okay? So we're gonna have to make sacrifices, but we're also gonna make more meaningful, wise sacrifices while gaining abundance and getting us out of the scarcity mentality. So this is me trying to get that going for me and for everybody else to say, it's okay to want sensuousness, but it has to be in the right logic, the right wayfulness, the truth in the life. Okay, the wifey slogan is, if she's too hardcore for everybody else, she's just right for me. I was thinking of changing it. If she's too wise for everybody else, she's just what right for me. And she's vegan. She's made the change already. Big heart, willing to take big risks for other people, and can